Hello! Ruben Amorim makes a big Man United decision as Patrick Dorgu sees red and Garnacho reacts. For out of 10 performance shows Ruben Amorim has already made an important transfer decision for Man United. Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana has put in another shocker for his club tonight despite their 3-2 win over Ipswich Town. The Cameroon international was arguably at fault for both goals that Man United conceded on the night, even if he'll also share the blame with Patrick Dorgu for the first. The second Ipswich goal was absolutely unforgivable from Onana, though, and his performance landed him with a pretty dire 4 out of 10 rating from the Manchester Evening News. "I got gay tendencies and kissed him on the mouth." Who said this about Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and what happened next? This is not the first time Onana has let United down, and it probably won't be the last, with new manager Ruben Amorim likely to be desperate to make a change in goal as soon as he can. The Manchester Evening News had previously reported that Amorim was already keen to bring in a keeper to challenge Onana next season. And now that more time has passed, he's surely going to lean towards a full replacement as the club's number one. Andre Onana blunders almost cost Manchester United again. MUFC were up against a poor Ipswich side tonight and eventually came away with a 3-2 win. But Onana's errors almost made it another nightmare evening for the team. The 28-year-old surely cannot be trusted to carry on as first choice in goal for such an ambitious club, and it seems Amorim probably came to that conclusion quite quickly. Onana was signed by previous United manager Erik ten Hag, and he's one of a number of flops brought in by the Dutch tactician. Antony, Mason Mount, Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee have been some other Ten Hag flops, and Amorim would probably do well to offload all of them if possible. For now, however, United will have to somehow get through the rest of the season with Onana as their main keeper, and that's surely going to be a big challenge for Amorim until he can make the changes he needs. Man United's £29.4 million January signing Patrick Dorgu sent off after horror challenge on Ipswich winger Omari Hutchinson following VAR review. Manchester United wingback Patrick Dorgu was shown a straight red card for a horror tackle in his side's 3-2 win over Ipswich Town at Old Trafford. The incident occurred in the 43rd minute as Ipswich winger Omari Hutchinson went to control the ball by the touchline. Dorgu came flying in but went over the top of the ball and caught Hutchinson high on the shin. The referee initially took a lenient view, but VAR intervened after assessing the challenge and urged the official to check the pitch side monitor. After looking at replays, the referee changed his mind and showed Dorgu a red card before the defender was comforted by teammate Manuel Ugarte. Dorgu, who signed from Serie A side Lecce for £29.4 million last month, had already endured a nightmare start to the game after a mix-up with Andre Onana allowed Jadon Philogene to put Ipswich in front inside 4 minutes. United turned the game back in their favor with 2 goals in 4 minutes as a Sam Morsy own goal brought them level before Matthijs de Ligt fired the Red Devils ahead. But Dorgu was then on the receiving end of a hefty challenge from Hutchinson, and the pair came together again moments later when Dorgu got his tackle horribly wrong. He was given his marching orders, leaving United to cope with just 10 men for more than a half. And they only managed to hold on their advantage for a matter of minutes after Dorgu departed, as Philogene scored his second of the game in first half stoppage time to make it 2-2 heading into the break. But United retook the lead 2 minutes into the second half through Harry Maguire and held on to clinch a crucial 3 points. Ruben Amorim confirms Alejandro Garnacho plan after Man United stars reaction to sub. Manchester United beat Ipswich 3-2 at Old Trafford on Wednesday evening, but all does not seem well between Alejandro Garnacho and Ruben Amorim after the former's substitution. Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim has confirmed he will talk to Alejandro Garnacho about his reaction to being substituted versus Ipswich. The Argentine forward was sacrificed by Amorim in their 3-2 win against the Tractor Boys on Wednesday. After Patrick Dorgu had been sent off for a horror foul on Omari Hutchinson, Garnacho was replaced by former Bayern Munich fullback Nasser Mazraoui as Amorim attempted to bolster his defense. But instead of taking his place on the bench, Garnacho decided to walk straight down the Old Trafford tunnel. Speaking in his post-match press conference, Amorim revealed he will hold talks with the young forward over the coming days. He said it was cold and wet, rainy. The thing was we would play more in 5-3-1 than we make sub. We had to choose someone to go out. I had to think about set pieces, was my choice. Amorim added, "You are comparing with Marcus Rashford? I am going to talk about Garnacho with that." You can ask me at the next press conference. There was plenty of disappointment elsewhere at the change, with fans venting on social media and Rio Ferdinand disagreeing. He said, "I was surprised to see Alejandro Garnacho come off after the red card because he pushes the team the other way." In the meantime, Garnacho took to social media just moments after the final whistle. He shared an image of him after his substitution on his Instagram story. The incident is the second difficult situation Garnacho has been in under Amorim this season. He was brutally axed from the squad for their clash with local rivals Manchester City earlier this season. And he has struggled for form throughout large swaths of the campaign with just 8 goals in 40 appearances in all competitions. He was linked with a move to Napoli in the January transfer window, but a move failed to materialize. He will hope to make more of an impression at the weekend with United back in FA Cup action. Amorim's side take on Premier League rivals Fulham at Old Trafford on Sunday afternoon. One man who won't be available for that game is defender Dorgu after his red card. And while Amorim did not argue against his dismissal, he still jumped to the defense of his fullback. He added, "Players can have a mistake like Patrick today. The sending off, he wants to play the ball. He is ready for the Premier League. Last week he had a good performance against Everton. Today the critics will say he is not experienced enough for the Premier League, but I don't feel that way." Forget Andre Onana. 12-touch Man United star was horrific against Ipswich Town, one of his worst performances yet. Manchester United's Wednesday night was off to the worst possible start inside 5 minutes, with Ipswich Town taking the lead. It looked like a routine situation for Manchester United to contend with as the Ipswich Town long ball bounced toward the box. Patrick Dorgu had it covered, and as he went to pass it back to Andre Onana, the Cameroonian was nowhere to be seen as the back pass rolled helplessly toward goal. It was a brutal miscommunication which Onana was at fault for, leaving United with a mountain to climb throughout the rest of the game. Ruben Amorim will be delighted as his side did climb, as 3 set-piece situations brought the goals for United's comeback to beat Ipswich 3-2. United's 3 goals showed excellent character, but there were still some awful performances across the pitch for United. Rasmus Højlund horrendous for Manchester United. Onana was labelled a calamity on MUTV for not only the first goal but the second Ipswich goal, which he allowed to pass him by into the goal. Dorgu's red card for United will also see his performance considered among the most disappointing. However, at the other end of the pitch, it is arguable that Rasmus Højlund was even worse than the goalkeeper. Højlund's impact on the game was minimal, and honestly, if United had gone to 9 men, he wouldn't have been missed. To only touch the ball 12 times, at home against a team firmly in the relegation zone, is appalling. Højlund was bullied by the Ipswich defense, which will soon be a championship team. So on Sunday, he could absolutely be dropped. Chido Obi should start for United against Fulham. Højlund's performances have been dreadful all season, but these struggles have reached new heights in recent weeks as the team around him is beginning to click. United's No. 9 therefore is on thin ice, with his only saving grace being the lack of options the Red Devils have right now in the attacking department. Due to this, for Højlund's own sake, it could be worthwhile taking him out of the firing line and putting Chido Obi into the starting lineup against Fulham. Obi is just 17, yet he wouldn't be able to do worse than Højlund, and he would have protection from criticism from the fans. Højlund, meanwhile, is stuck in a rut of awful performances with his confidence at rock bottom. It would be an invaluable experience for Obi, and he would offer more in the way of link-up play for United. Amorim has a decision to make. Decisive Man United showed cup knockout spirit. Absolutely outstanding player showed the way for Ruben Amorim'S men. Manchester United secured 3 points against Ipswich Town to put any foolish talk of relegation to bed. 14th in the Premier League table is a dismal position for Manchester United to be in. But after trailing in both recent games to Everton and then Ipswich Town, it could have been worse. That's little.